You smell what the Rock is cooking.
Acknowledge me.
You don't know what hard times are, Daddy.
We are bad to the bone. Get it? Bad to the bone.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
I'll fight anybody. Who do you want? Just let me fight him.
Let me tell you something, Jim Ross.
Mega power, yeah. We got it for you.
We are the best of the best.
Woo! Wheeling dealing. Smart marks.
And that's the bottom line, cause Stone Cold said so.
Welcome to Talking to the Building, a pro wrestling podcast where we focus on the promo. We just talk about the talkers, we hype the hype men, and we pontificate on this beautiful thing called the promo. I'm Adalid over here on the West Coast, joined by the homies, the compadres, the pro wrestling aficionados, our resident historian, Greg. How you feeling, Greg, tonight?
Yo, I'm good, man. I'm good. Just hanging out here in the A, you know.
Yeah, brother. Good to see you. And my other brother from the mother got the man with the plan, Adrian,
Yes,
also out in Atlanta.
Yeah, man. What's happening? What's happening, fellas? It's been a while.
It's
back
been
on
a
the
while.
saddle.
Yeah, man. So for y'all listening, return listeners, watchers, thank you for joining us on this ride and coming back to the space. And we hope, we'll give you another great episode tonight. For those of you joining us for the first time, check out the back catalog, intothebuilding.com. It's going to take it to everything else that we have. We got short form, we got long form, we got our Mount Rushmores, we got our Dusty reviews, we got everything and anything you need about the promo. And we've developed quite the catalog, if I might say so. So check it out and, let us know in the comments, what do you want to talk about? What are your reactions to everything that we have to say? But follow us on the socials as well, and like, comment, subscribe as always, because that always helps. But tonight, gentlemen, we've had a bit of a layoff, and we are kind of dying to get into this conversation, especially since so much has happened. And Adrian, you said it, in the past, and we're going to talk about it tonight. And Greg, you are the resident historian, so you have a lot of context for where we are in the business. Let's dig in. We just had a week full of releases that, frankly, I don't think anybody saw coming, really. I mean, these were some established stars with the New Day, with Kofi and Xavier Woods, and maybe some other ones that were not as surprising. But, gentlemen, let's dive into the state of the business and truly the business of it all. Because here we are in the TKO era, at least for WWE. We got AEW operating in their own sphere. Maybe there's a WBD deal there. But caught in the crossfire are human beings, right? Pro wrestlers, that this is their craft. And beyond their craft, this is how they pay the bills too. So, Greg, I want to come to you. We're coming on the heels of, the passing of Ted Turner, who, created this other, way of challenging the business, right? And creating avenues. Where do we find ourselves now? What are your reactions, not just to those releases, but to the business of it all right now?
I mean, this is, to me, you kind of touched on Ted Turner, but back then there was the territories. The best thing that has happened, and I've said this multiple times, AEW helped create more territories. AEW put another spot out there that allowed people to go make a good living. TNA, you make okay living depending on who you were, but AEW, they're paying you.
Yeah.
Now, we're not going to talk about their profitability or whatever, 'cause we don't know. But whatever. At the end of the day, you're going in there and you can make some good money. So now when these guys get released, you have places to go. You can go to Japan and make good money. You can go to AEW and make good money and reinvent yourself. That's what I actually, when we get to some of these releases and start unpacking it, there's opportunity for these guys to go make something different of themselves.
100%.
We've seen it. We've seen it back. Everybody talks about Jinder or Drew, but let's talk about Cardona. Let's talk about Cody. Let's talk about, there's guys who have gone out and made a different name for themselves.
Yeah.
With Lacey Evans. Come on. Sasha Banks. Reinvent herself. There's others who've gone. Ricochet. Ricochet to me is the most entertaining he's ever been. He's actually shown some personality. Great. He's in the ring. He's a spot monkey. But at the end of the day, it was like, I relate that to Apollo Crews. He's never connected with anybody in the audience. Ever.
Yeah.
Great in the ring. Go reinvent yourself. And it goes both ways. If people say, oh, AEW dropped the ball on this person or WWE dropped the ball, not necessarily. There are different audiences.
Right.
And you have to connect. But to me, the state of the business, there's some things we're going to get into. But from a financial standpoint and the opportunities to make money outside of WWE is bigger now than it's ever been.
Yeah. And you touched on it. I mean, there's a lot of reinvention that only you can craft, only you can guide, right? You're driving the boat ultimately. And Adrian, we've talked a lot about, Greg mentioned them, about Zack Ryder, who makes his whole new personality on the independents, almost in reaction to how he came into the independents. Talk more about kind of your thoughts on these releases and thinking now these guys have to go and maybe face a bit of a fractured environment because maybe the money's not quite there the way it was 2-3 years ago.
I mean, it all really depends on who you are, because we all know Tony Khan is more than willing to pay you whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? So for some of the people that are released, I'm more so thinking of Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. They have an opportunity to get cashed out, at least another opportunity. I know a lot of fans were pretty upset about it. I was caught off guard. I'm not going to lie about those two being released. I wasn't caught off guard with a lot of those releases. Like I saw a lot of those names and I was like, yeah, I can see that. They weren't getting over. They had nothing for them. I can understand that. That's business. But I was caught off guard with New Day. But they do have a huge opportunity with AEW. That's the second biggest company stateside. They have some online rapport with some of the EVPs. So there's always that. And we have to take into account when you leave WWE, AEW wants you so that they can use you to crap on WWE. Let's just keep it a buck. That's a huge opportunity. Do I think that Kofi and Xavier would just immediately go to crap on that company? No, heck no. Like Kofi, when Kofi got released, when everyone was doing their outrage posts and all that, the post I made was shout out to Kofi Kingston for being in that company for 2 decades. That's a hell of a career. He made a lot of coin being in there. So, it's one of those things. I think us as fans, and I get it. Us as fans, we love guys and we love this talent and we want to see them thrive. We want to see them rock and roll and do their thing. But when we take the grand scope of it, when we look at it from a macro level, Kofi Kingston is a millionaire. He's a millionaire doing a kid's something that all of us watched as a kid to this day, where some of us are great. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's made he's made so much money and fame and all of that. That's a positive. So, releases happen. That one caught me off guard, but a lot of those releases, I understood. I understood why. So, it is what it is.
Yeah, and man, you mentioned like that kind of longevity, which is, I mean, it's rare. It's just rare in any business, but especially here where it's flavor of the month or not, right? We just talked about I'm thinking about like Aleister Black, where he was back exactly a year, right? JC Mateo, who I love that dude. I loved him as Matanza. I loved him as Jeff Cobb. Just that. And it just didn't click when also the company just didn't set him up also for success. If you're just kind of an add-on to basically, NWO 3.0 or 4.0, whatever this is now with the Bloodline. Right. But with that said, I think you said some people are better positioned. I'm going to make the case for Xavier Woods. Yeah. I think we've all seen, you even saw it in Bailey's post or response where you said, you made the backstage better for us, better for the boys and girls in the backstage. And you got us paid for it because they got some coin from those up, down segments. Even though they own it now, WWE is going to keep that. But, he saw it in the future. Now Twitch streaming is common and stuff. And he'll doing it back with them. He'll go
rebuild something. Yeah.
He'll do his own thing, right? And it's awesome because if you watch through the pandemic, he was still linking up, with Castagnoli. He was linking up with, with Breeze and with Adam Cole, through the injury. So those dudes are tight. So it's fun to see him maybe reinvent, because he's always been this host. He's always been this kind of ahead of the curve, really, even with the merch, even when they were teasing the stuff with Elite through the Street Fighter thing like 10 years ago.
Did you all see, and speak, it's still within the realm of the business, because before we hit record, I told you I'm kind of low on the business right now. I'm kind of low energy with the business. And it's not just WWE. I know a lot of us, we watch WWE, and that's really kind of what drives a lot of our conversations for the most part, because that's what we're really watching. But I mean, I got to talk about AEW also, because just recently, it's not so much reported, but put out there that they may not have a TV deal. And that's potentially an issue. Like, I know Tony is fortunate and blessed to be a son of a billionaire, making him a billionaire, but that's kind of a problem. That's kind of an issue. So I have these concerns with the two biggest companies in professional wrestling. Even though I know WWE is, proudly boasting profits here, profits there, and all that, we all know business. We all know business. All of that profits and all that could mean jack crap to us in the working class, right? So I'm kind of low on the business right now. I'm low. I was, this time last year, I was very optimistic about the business overall, because it was WWE's going in a post Vince McMahon era, Netflix, we got big deals and all of that. AEW, they're fighting, they're trying to, now they're post CM Punk, trying to figure it out, and pieces are there, but now no TV deal. What are we going to do? Is it just going to be my AEW and YouTube? Because according to what they're saying, Paramount doesn't want them. CW is, and Roku are already WWE in bed with WWE, so that's a wrap. Like, we're running out of options for consistent AEW programming. So I'm kind of concerned, and I do have my concerns about back to WWE. I have my tinfoil hat, which makes me even more kind of down on it. The way that they're unloading talent, I think they're in for a sale, man. I really do think that Saudi Arabia is in play to acquire WWE. That's just really where my feelings are. I'm familiar with business. All three of us are. Business acquisitions and mergers. What's the first thing to go? They start to they get rid of costs. They start getting rid of costs and renegotiating and all of that, so that they can look pretty for the next person to take over.
There's another piece to that. I wouldn't be shocked if that happened. No, I'd be more shocked about the Saudi Arabia piece. I think that
that's where my head.
But
yeah.
Keep in mind, UFC is not that profitable.
Right.
So if you look at their deals they signed and all that stuff, they're a pay-per-view company, and they're not as profitable.
Right.
I think overall profitability, I think WWE makes more money.
I can see that.
Profitability, profit margin.
Right.
But let's just put our business hats on. Okay. You're bringing in talent. Well, let me start with IWC.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to see Oba. Oh, I want to see Trick. Oh, I want to see Saul Ruka. Oh, these people need to be called up. I'm so tired of seeing the Usos. I'm so tired of seeing New Day. Oh, so New Day's gone. Why would you do that?
Right.
Oh, Oba's up here. Guess what? That's a spot that's taken. Oh, now we have Trick. There's a spot that's taken. We all get excited about the NFL draft every year. But a lot of those guys took somebody else's job.
100%.
And so we all get, oh, let's go. Georgia has all these players drafted. Now, well, why that guy get cut? What? We can't have it both ways,
Can't
y'all.
have
It
both
just can't
ends.
happen.
Yep. Yep.
And so when I look at a New Day who gets cut, I think it's the best thing that's happened to him in the past 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Because what have they done in the last few years? Nothing. They did have the turn, and it was after that it was kind of up and down and what kind of happened, and
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't as connecting for whatever reason, whether it's creative or whatever. But this is the best thing that has happened to them, in my opinion. The best thing that happened to Sasha Banks is her leaving. She's a
Yeah.
bigger star because she had Charlotte, she had Becky, who were just a notch above her for a while.
Mm.
Right, wrong, or indifferent, they were. I think the next person who needs to go is Bailey.
Mm. Yeah, no.
I mean,
yeah,
there's
she's
so many.
yeah,
other
she's
writings on the
gone.
wall.
Yeah, she's out. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's gone, bro. She's gone.
I've said it. It was on one of the things. I think she was put in there with Valkyria to bring her up, and I think she's been brought down.
Mm.
You can't tell me she's a bigger star now. Before getting into that tag team, she's not.
Mm.
And I think she's the next one. But we as fans go, oh my God, they took SmackDown and made it 3 hours. Now it's going back to 2, greatest 2. Guess what? That means there's talent that's not going to be on that 3rd hour.
Right.
Cut them.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what else, y'all? Oh, that's so great. It's great they're not doing house shows anymore. They're not doing all this.
You
Well,
hit
now
it on
you're
the
only
head.
working once a week, twice a month.
Yep.
Well, guess what? I don't need to pay you what I was paying you. It's business.
Yeah.
And I've heard that, I think even today, that's part of the reason they're coming out and telling people, yeah, we're going to give you a cut. Because what we don't all realize is that it wasn't always the Punks and the Romans and the Codys doing all those shows. Well, Cody was, but there's always there was the mid carders that you don't see on
Mid-card,
TVs
yeah.
every week.
Yeah.
There was the
Right.
R-Truth, and there was like a Matt Cardona or a Grayson Waller. Those guys were doing all those house shows, and they get paid for that, and they get all this other stuff that happens with that.
Yep.
You take away all those house shows, you don't need the number of talent you had. It's just a law of averages. But it's hilarious to me to hear the IWC bitch and complain
Yeah.
when before, look at Eric Bischoff and all the talent he just has, and there's just no reason. He's just throwing away money. Look at all the talent WWE has right now. It's stupid.
Yeah.
AEW, it's stupid. And then there are others in that cut that, I mean, you know what? Some of them need to look in the mirror.
Yeah.
I
no doubt.
I listened to Eric Bischoff talk about Aleister Black, and he was right. He goes, for whatever reason, that character isn't connecting past NXT.
Right.
Mhm.
He's got to reinvent or make some adjustments. It didn't connect that well with that great in AEW either. And then Zelina Vega over the last couple of years, she hasn't connected either.
Mm.
I mean, let's just call it what it is. Jeff Cobb.
Yeah.
You can say Jeff Cobb got thrown into something, but he got thrown into a main event storyline.
Mm.
He got thrown into something. Now, what they've done with the Solo Sikoa grouping and all that stuff, take that for what it's worth. But when he got thrown into it, where else are you going to put him? I don't know. I'm not saying that was the right place or
Yeah.
whatever, but I made this argument in another conversation on another show that was about Finn Balor. I said,
Mhm.
what is Finn Balor? What is he? He was slated once Edge got kicked out to lead the New Day. He got surpassed by Damian. Then he got surpassed by Rhea.
Mm.
Then they leave. Then he gets surpassed by Dom. Then he gets surpassed by Liv. What are you, Finn? What are you? At what point is your star power going to be something? You're great in the ring. You've done crap. Let's just call it what it is. He's a great wrestler in the ring.
Mm.
His aura isn't there. His it factor isn't there. I feel like he has the He doesn't have quite the it factor. You
Mm.
don't. And to me, he's lost it with the Demon. I was not impressed with how he handled the Demon at Mania. I mean,
That's fair.
it's just calling it what it is, y'all. It's just like, look at some of these talents. At some point, they got to look in the mirror and figure out, what am I doing?
Or they're just riding the wave, right? They're getting paid.
Yeah.
And let's do the nostalgia act because, frankly, the Demon is nostalgia for some. I mean, there's 20-year-old kids now that they were watching him at 10, right? And
Sure.
they watch this meeting like, oh, that's awesome. You know, like he hasn't done it in a long time. But you're right. He's meandering. Maybe he was the anchor of that Judgment Day for a while, but to what end? Everybody's kind of gone beyond that. I mean, Rio's obviously like the biggest attraction in the world for wrestling, essentially at this point. But you made a point earlier about Eric Bischoff having like that roster and essentially an open checkbook, realistically. Whereas I think WWE now is operating more as if somebody that has been bought out by private equity, where, like Adrian mentioned earlier, they're trying to lean out, trying to, they cut out house shows. We knew that when they cut out the live events director, right? That AEW quickly picked up, I believe. But I mean, I think of the LA market. I mean, it's a market that everybody comes through, right? Concert venues, music, TV theater, whatever it might be. And they just announced the summer dates. They're doing one date in LA at Inglewood for a Raw. The last time they came here was also for a pay-per-view. And I think it was a couple years ago, the last house show they did was a holiday tour. It was like Christmas weekend. And who starred on that one? Punk, because of course he would, right? But again, those house shows they used to happen here several times a year, it felt like, and there hasn't been one in several years now. So that is the state of essentially where they're going. But there's a lot of
they're Disney on Ice. They're once a year.
That's a good, accurate statement there.
It's coming to your town once a year. And you know what? I'm not saying that's bad. It's a successful business model. It's been proven time and time and time and time again. There's deeper issues to me by not having house shows. I don't think this light schedule is good for them.
No.
I mean, you see these injuries and all that kind of stuff. It's like I said on one of the posts, you don't work out for a month or once a week, you're never going to get where you need to go.
Right.
And then if you skip working out, you work out, and then you skip a couple weeks, and you go work out, and that next day you're so freaking sore. You never get to a point where your muscles are prepared for it. And that's, I would argue, why they're getting injured so much.
Yeah.
I mean, it's look at football. We got to say the same thing about football. We no longer do two-a-days. We don't hit anybody. We can't touch anything. And then the quarterbacks, God forbid, they get touched in a practice. Now they get hit in a game. They're out for 2 weeks. Every single time because you're never hit. Now, I'm not saying that you should be hit. I don't know. I don't know what that balance looks like. But I just feel like, and I'm not trying to be the old man going, yelling at the clouds saying, oh, we have to be tougher. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that you have to be prepared for when you don't have house shows, your match quality goes down, in my opinion. And then you don't get connections. I've heard Cody talk about it. Cody's a fan of bringing back house shows. And talking about how he needs a few. He's not saying you had to have 300 a year, but a few. Because I remember listening to DDP talk about him and Macho Man at a house show where Macho Man said, you're going over tonight with the diamond cutter. He hits it. The crowd loses their minds. And in the ring, he says, I think we know what we're doing at Spring Stampede.
Yeah.
They're getting tuned up for Spring Stampede. Yeah. And then they go take that match that they practiced and all that kind of stuff. They take it to Spring Stampede, and and it becomes a classic. Awesome. You don't get that. You don't get that crowd reaction or anything if you don't have house shows.
Yeah. And they just have flexibility in house shows to try things on, like you said, but also sometimes just go wild because it's usually just a timekeeper. Just like, hey, as long as stick to the time. One of the coolest matches I've ever seen live, I've said it before, was a John Cena, Kevin Owens main event, tables, ladders, and chairs. Saw it. I'm like, why is this on TV? And they didn't necessarily replicate it for TV, but they were just out there just going for it. And it was like, it's just for us. Like this, they're not even recording half of this. So different times.
But then also when it comes to these house shows and that's an opportunity for younger talent to actually learn how to work a crowd. And I mean, obviously, when we're talking about in-ring and all of that, I know that's where the focus is with a lot of these people online. But you can say, like, Jade would need some house shows. She would gain so much from house shows. I think Tiffany Stratton would gain so much working house shows because I've seen her live a number of times. Super athletic. She's beautiful and all that, but she can't work a crowd for nothing. She can't read a crowd. You can tell that she's I'm going to practice this. I don't care what the crowd reaction is. I'm still going to do it, and I'm just going to keep it moving like that. And that's not pro wrestling. And I can say the same thing for promos. Like, that's what our podcast is about, right? So I think currently, there's a lot of talent missing the mark with really connecting with the crowd and really making that impact. Now we have some anomalies. We have Danhausen, who's actually doing a hell of a job being over. He's doing a hell of a job on SmackDown. The thing with him and Miz is hilarious. People are loving it. People are loving him. Trick Williams, people are loving that character. He's over. He's so over. He's got Lil Yachty actually I've been showing up and like that's being wild, around. Man. Like, that is so crazy. I would never think that. So I'm not going to say that it's just all of the wrestlers are awful and all that. I'm down on the business, but there are plenty of highlights and high points and at least that glimmering light where I'm like, okay, it's there, but I still question things. I just question some things creatively. Going into WrestleMania, we were still waiting. We were waiting for him to cook. We were waiting for him to heat up. We're like, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And then we're here at WrestleMania. You know what I'm saying? It was like the only match that truly felt like a WrestleMania match was the main event. So good job for them for that. And they delivered. They did a hell of a job, that main event. But, you know what I'm saying? And it kind of sucks doing a wrestling podcast and you're just like, man, I'm so down on the business right now. I'm so down on it. And Darby's champ at AEW. I'm like,
I don't
mind that. That's for me.
But still, and promo again,
right?
His promo, like, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying when I'm talking about. I'm down on the business. The most important thing with pro wrestling for me, and I think all three of us are in agreement here. The most important thing with pro wrestling will be the creative and the promo and presentation.
Yep.
In ring, yes. If you're good in ring, awesome. But if you want people's attention, you got to have some stories. You got to have something that's gripping. You got to have some characters that stand out, that make people say, oh, who the hell is this Oba Femi? And why is my grandmother doing that? You know, like, we need that. And we see it, but it's few and far beyond. So I don't know. That's just my current feeling on wrestling overall. Like, I like that NXT, which is consistently my favorite show, that they've seemed to move away from the guys that have moved on, and now we're focusing on newer people, and they're doing a really good job presenting them, but it's still at that younger stage where it's like, we don't really know you, so we're still figuring each other out. So I mean, I'm fine with that, but when it comes to current WWE, current AEW, I'm just like,
it's hard to stay invested, man. And you wonder,
unfortunately,
some of this is also playing up to social media, but that's a different conversation, right?
That too.
Well, we could definitely talk more, and we'll get into it because we have a lot to say about the state of everything going on right now. But one of the things that we talk about is through the promo, this connection to the audience, and maybe something that's lacking, right, from everybody that we've talked about tonight, releases or not. And I'm not going to sit here and play soothsayer in the past or in the future, but sometimes, gentlemen, you call your shot and you're the only one right in the room. And I'm gonna bring it back, because if y'all go to the back catalog over here, and we did an episode on Saturday morning cartoons. This is Greg led this episode, and I pointed out one particular character who was not signed to WWE yet. And tonight, right before the podcast we recorded, I found a clip. Danhausen was on ESPN. Let's put those two words together that if I'd said them a year ago, y'all would have thought I was crazy. Now, I believed in the dude. Did I ever think it was going to get to this? Hell no, not this quick. But I just want to say that on a personal note, I am incredibly satisfied and take some measure of pride and some measure of credit only because I bought his merch in the past before.
Heck yeah.
And he's a nice guy. But it's really cool to see that dude come up and take that initial appearance and almost like judo move to it. But like, oh, they were cheering for me. You didn't hear that? And it was really cool just from the get-go from the audience just to get it and to get it in a really quick way. To now him interacting with hosts on ESPN. And this is a promo we're going to look at tonight. We're going to see his appearance on ESPN from earlier today and really see now what I believe a Danhausen can be, which is a character that goes beyond pro wrestling. So let's take a look at Danhausen on ESPN.
The best moments of the day. Ooh, that's what Danhausen heard in the back. So I decided I'd come out, introduce myself. We're now co-workers, you know. Who are you?
I'm Brian.
Brian Hausen. Yes. Great to meet you. You?
I'm Molly.
Molly Hausen. Great to meet you.
What are you doing? We're trying to do top plays.
Yeah, but I heard you said the best moments in your favorite part of the show, and then I came out.
Right, but we wanted to do top plays.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know that you have Backlash this weekend, right? So let's get the scoop. Who's your mystery partner?
Oh, it's a mystery. You got to watch Backlash to get that. Danhausen has come here to do the top plays, though. So, let's go. Come on. Danhausen's doing the top plays now. Number 3, NBA Timberwolves versus the Spurs. Julian Champagny with the mystery. Victor Wembanyama comes flying in for the putback slam. Incredible play from Wemby. Spurs win it in 133-95. Wow. Number 2, MLB Reds versus Cubs. A 2-for-1 for Dansby Swanson. Wow. Swanson makes a sliding grab and gets the out at first. Swanson makes a near identical play later in the inning. And, ooh, look at that. Check out how similar the plays are side by side. Cubs win it in 7-6. Oh, wow. And here comes number 1. There it is. NHL Canadiens versus Sabres. Kirby Ducks.
Sabres, but okay.
Whatever. I'm doing it right now. First shot, he stopped, and he flips the rebound up past the goalie while falling down. Ridiculous goal by Dutch. Canadians lose in 4-2. Oh, and here comes the best one. Here it is, the bonus play. Oh, wow. I crashed the Mizzy's WrestleMania moment. Groin punch right there. My best friend John Cena in the background. With the "You Can't Curse Me," he bestowed it upon Danhausen, who is the new GOAT. Great. And here it comes to decimate, eviscerate, and annihilate the Miz. Yes, he's cursed. And if you do not watch Backlash this weekend, you are cursed. Tune in, or else.
I haven't seen that yet. I want to see it with y'all. I have thoughts. Anyway, Adrian, I'm going to come to you because this is a little weird for me to see him in this context.
Yeah.
I want to hear from you.
I like it, man. I like it. It makes sense. ESPN better be promoting Backlash, the kind of money that they've invested in WWE programming or whatnot. So it makes sense. And Danhausen is one of those things like you're intrigued because you don't know what the hell he is. And you can kind of get the vibe of him just through what he says and his actions or whatnot, and the music. I love the fact that they put that music just so you can say, okay, this is what his character is, but I'm more intrigued. But I love the fact that they brought a clip of him in The Miz because people recognize The Miz, people know The Miz. And again, we're trying to grab the casual viewer to watch Saturday, to watch Backlash.
Yep.
So is bringing that together. Who's your mystery opponent? Oh, you'll have to watch Saturday and see who's the mystery opponent. It works. We can bring that back and compare that to like going on Regis and Kelly or something. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like that was very similar to that. So yeah, no, I like that. That was fun.
That's cool. Yeah, and it was fun to see them kind of play it straight too. Like they leaned into that certainly that element. Greg, what kind of seeing him in this context for me is jarring only because he's reading copy, and it's just funny to me to see him be an anchor. But I kind of want to hear what your thoughts were on this.
I mean, first off, I wasn't a big fan of Danhausen prior to WWE. He was fine, right? And I listened to what you had to say about him and all that. I'm like, oh, he's cool. But what he's done in WWE, whether it's been him, creative, whatever, I don't know. His more freedom, I don't know, right? It's been amazing. Like I sent y'all a text one day. I'm like, he's got to be sitting here going, "What has happened? Like, how is this happening to me?" Let's put it in context. Here's a lower mid card dude who's had a handful of matches in WWE on ESPN.
Yeah,
it's not Roman, it's not Cody, it's not Seth, it's not even LA Knight or The Miz. It's freaking Danhausen. And so I'm like, this is cool. And I think what helps him is he is delusional. And that makes it more fun. Like he's funny, but not trying to be. But delusional, like, oh, I've just disappeared, let me run off. I mean, like that, there's just these little elements to it. And he's witty because as he's mispronounced the Sabres, he said, "I'm doing this now." It was like he threw those quips in there, and I'm just like blown away that they put him in that role.
That's a worker in him.
100%.
That's a worker in him.
And but we just talked about characters. We know who you are. He knows who and what he is, and it connects. Connects. It's exactly what Adrian was talking about a second ago. How so many people are not connecting. He connects, but he's secure in his role. He's secure in what he is. He doesn't take himself too seriously, and 100% connects with this freaking audience. There were some things that happened recently, with the fireworks and pyro that could have totally backfired, and people just bought in. People just bought right in. But he also does it. He also like goes and pays off the pyro dude, right? So there's another element to it that's like, it's not really a curse. It's just I paid the dude off. So it's like,
and the richer he gets, the more people he can pay off. So
it's awesome. I'm glad you brought that because I had no clue about that clip, and that was awesome.
I saw it on my feed earlier today. I was like, oh, I gotta bring that because it's just gonna tie everything together. Especially, we're talking about eras, and this is the ESPN era. Like I never thought I'd be watching a pay-per-view on WWE pay-per-view on ESPN. I know they did classics and stuff, but that was different. I want to kind of put a pin in the conversation, but more just getting more your thoughts on where this could go, because for me, this is the beginning of more, especially with their media partnerships, especially he is going to become, if they don't burn him out, I think he can become like the mascot for WWE ultimately. I think he can truly, and wait till like Halloween season gets here and they can cross promote with that. Dude, he's such a shoo-in for so much cool stuff. And I'm really excited because something you mentioned about him knowing his character, it was curated. It was almost, it went this embryonic period on the indies and him trying stuff out and something's not connecting and him just picking what consistently people were actually responding to and just making it part of the character. The teeth, were part of the character. Just there's so many variances that I'd say he's probably done maybe 25% of the stuff that has worked so far that you can still bring to WWE. Just certain catchphrases and elements. There's something that I hope he ever does. He did on AEW for a spell. He'll come in with, have you ever watched the Simpsons episode where he tries to gain weight to go on disability? He wears this muumuu with a white hat. And it's just ridiculous. Danhausen's doing that because, remember, in his introduction, he's 6'5", 300 pounds. So he comes in. So there's these little funny elements that you start picking up on because, to Greg's point, the character is delusional. And once you understand that, everything else clicks in and you're not really questioning what he does.
I think the other thing that really helps is he's over, but they don't lose their minds. And what I mean is LA Knight, people are losing minds, and you start to burn out. Which I think this is more that slow build where everybody loves him. He's very entertaining. He's not necessarily everybody's favorite. He's not Roman. He's not Cody. He's not Punk. He's not, even LA Knight. He's not those guys, right? He's not where everybody's going crazy for him. The kids love him. And I think he's in that great spot where hopefully they don't burn him out. But I don't think they're in danger yet on TV. I think in the arenas, they're coming close based on what I've seen. Where he was coming out and shooting out all the T-shirts. He's like out there, the host, basically, for the whole night. But I'm just floored by how they've used him and how well he's done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it works. I'm like, the writers are doing their job, like you're mentioning, Greg. But anyway, guys, it was good to catch up on this, and I think I'd been wanting to talk to you guys about this for a while, so I'm glad we got a chance to capture it. And for the listeners, again, these are the conversations we have. This is one of our shorter form episodes, but we have more longer forms where we dig into, maybe historical time periods. We might profile a wrestler in themselves for the promo. So check out that back catalog, intothebuilding.com. Like, comment, subscribe, and let us know, what are your thoughts on this Danhausen character so far? And earlier in the conversation, what are your thoughts on the state of the business right now? Are you in? Are you falling out of love with it? Or just kind of keep it in the background and checking it on YouTube clips like a lot of people I know do right now. But from us, got Adrian, got the homie Greg out on the ATL. This is Adalid over here on the West Coast. Intothebuilding.com. Until next time, we'll see y'all later.
You don't know what